This is your Sky Captain speaking. We're here on a scenic tour of the London area. This is in Microsoft Flight Simulator on Xbox Series X. Be sure to leave a like so more people can check out this flight. And of course, subscribing is great as well. As always, if you basically notice that we fly over something like where you live or somewhere you've been, it's always great to hear additional information about the region and the area because it's kind of cool to have that connection when you're out here in the sky. So yep, this is a scenic tour of London, trying to pick out and let you know about some of the landmarks and the key areas while flying over this very busy, well, city area. So to the right, we have the London Airport. We just flew away from that area. And then we're kind of moving up to the left here pretty quickly. There's Charlton. That's this setup on this particular region. And you'll notice as we go across, we are going over the River Thames, going a little bit faster than I'd like to at this current point, but we'll kind of try to get our speed going well here. So on the left, that is the Greenwich area as it kind of bounces out to this, sort of hook in the river. And on the right side, you'll notice that is the Limo Peninsula. That's where that little bit of water sort of rivers into the city. I love how in London they use the water inside some of the street type areas. It's very, very interesting to look at. Here's the O2 building. Very, very large. Takes up a lot of distance, but you can see all the little details and the wiring and stuff, and I think that's, to me, really quite cool. So on the right we have the Isle of Dogs, a lot of, I guess you could say, skyscraper type buildings that really are overlooking a lot of different water and a lot of dock areas. I'm going to try to highlight some of the names. HSBC Tower. I think there's, One Canada Square, kind of cool. Landmark Pinnacle. Just trying to give you an idea of some of the different names here. So over here, there's supposed to be the old Royal Naval College, but we've got there the Maritime Greenwich. So that's actually a very detailed structuring, as you can tell. And so that park right above it, or well behind it, is the Greenwich Park. It's a nice little patch of green space right here, and just like a lovely little park area. Trying to show off some of the detail of the buildings there, because as you can tell, this area has been given a very good treatment in regards to, kind of making sure some of the detail comes alive for the buildings and some of the key structuring areas. So we're also going over the Deptford area, and then up there will be Rotherhithe. That's that little area that again bumps out in the water. That's what that whole little kind of area is. And you should be seeing little bashes or splashes of water there on the left. That is the Surrey Quays. So you see the water a little bit inland. That's kind of just like a neat little spot to highlight. And then you'll notice on the other side where the bump is, that is the Limehouse area. And once again, we are on the River Thames, which is a very important watering area as we go through this very bustling, busy city with a lot of cool landmarks. Again, there's the quays, like we mentioned. Very, very neat aesthetics, just in terms of like the building designs. Oh, that's a cool kind of forested driving path. That's kind of neat. So we'll try to do that. Poplar. Interesting. So we're coming around the bend here. We have St. Catherine's and Wapping kind of on the right, so that's a bit odd name-wise. And then if we go down that way, would be Bermondsey, which is kind of neat. Coming up in the middle there, we have the Tower Bridge, and to the right of the Tower Bridge should be the Tower of London. So we're going to have to do some sort of back and forth sort of flights over this area, because as you can tell, there's a lot of congestion, a lot of different boats, boating tour areas. It's a very busy spot, and I'm trying my best to kind of just let you see the detail within the environment here. As you can see, the really beautifully detailed, big highlightable spots. You're going to see a lot of highly detailed buildings and stuff here. The walkie-talkie, kind of a bit of a downtown area. So many things going on. The Gherkin is that cool shaped one. 22, just trying to highlight the best I can, because there are so many buildings in this area. So many to look at. Yeah, I'm trying to get all the names to pop up, the Heron Tower, stuff like that. Alright, so now we're gonna kind of wrap back around so we can fly and show off a bit of the other side, though. There's Whitechapel, that area. And then across the water, we have some other spots to highlight, so we're just gonna Go back down. We were just wrapping around so you could see this like really heavy, dense area. I just love the details in the buildings. You know, they look so dimensional, especially in comparison to everything else going around. But yeah, very very cool aesthetics and designs. And then going over the Tower of London and the bridge again. So here we have, I want to highlight it, the Shard. So kind of a very very cool aesthetic building. And then just a pile of different like bridges and stuff to go through. See, everything's really dense, so it's hard to kind of be like, hey, here's this, here's that. So we're going to be just kind of wrapping back and forth, like I mentioned, a couple times through, just so that you can get a good look at the different buildings on both sides of the Thames. And yeah, there are so many things. Even compared to my flight last year in this on PC, they've really done a wonderful job of adding a lot of detailed information about this place with that big update that came out for it. Really, really quite great looking. A lot of this stuff really didn't pop out like it does now. So many bridges. Tons and tons of bridges. That building looks really cool. The Blackfriars. And there's St. Paul's Cathedral. Kind of sticking out there. Very nicely done architecture-wise. And yeah, in case you didn't know this was London, they got a sticky post there that says this is London. It's Fleet Street. And we got a number of bridges, and then you should be seeing the Eye, the London Eye right there. Kind of sticks out along the waterway. We're going to try to go down a little bit just to show this off so you can see it in close-up detail. Yeah, a lot of these bridges were submerged last time, which was hilarious, but there we go. Trying to get the name to pop up, but just let you appreciate the density and the detail there. And then right here we have the Palace of Westminster. Kind of seeing that pop up along the water. Big Ben right there. Trying not to crash my plane while also doing a tour. Very, very hard to do. So we're gonna kind of pop up this way. Vauxhall Bridge. The Vauxhall area here in general all around this spot. Then we got the London 1 and the George Wharf Tower. Looks like that area isn't quite generated up at all. It's just like flat. It happens. The Nine Elms and South Lambeth is down this way. So we're going to still continue going down. And don't worry, we're going to kind of wrap back around here in a little bit. So you can see some of the stuff on the right with a bit more density. Grosvenor Bridge, Chelsea Bridge. Seeing some of the football stadium areas. Just going to have to adjust their area. So that should be right here. This grass area is the Battersea Park. And Chelsea is to the right here. Seeing that kind of garden area and everything. Very, very lovely architecture-wise, but we'll continue going down the Thames a bit and then wrapping back around as we got a lot of different buildings. On the left, we should have passed Battersea, and we should be seeing Wandsworth and Putney around here on the left-hand side. See Battersea coming up, so that'll be to the left. This area will be Battersea, and then just up above it will be Putney. And to the right will be the Fulham area. A lot of really beautiful garden areas that I'm trying to highlight to the best of my ability. So much density here. Must be crazy, like, live along the water there. Wandsworth, the All England Lawn Tennis Center. I kind of want to fly over that and take a look at that, and then we'll wrap back around. Because that was not on my scheduled list, but, you know, that's the fun of doing these flights, is to see stuff like that. And I guess Fulham Palace should be around there, kind of where that green space, no, down that way, that green space over there. That is another park. So yeah, let's see the... Oh wow, this is very quaint inland here. I was definitely not expecting to add this to the journey, but we might as well while we're here. The All England Lawn Tennis Club Centre Court. So there's some nice green spaces. And a golf course, as you could tell. A lot of tennis is played there, as you can see. And the primary court in the middle of it all. So let's wrap back around and get towards the River Thames once more. So that should be the Wimbledon. Oh, that's Putney Park is that like big thing there, but it's like the Wimbledon area. Wimbledon and Putney, like something tennis court. Sorry, and Richmond Park should be to the left, further down that way as well. Let's keep our focus going, and let's adjust our plane here. Oh, those buildings almost look like they're falling into the water, which I think is kind of hilarious. Dun dun dun. So that'll be Hurlingham is the kind of area right along the water. But once again, this is the Fulham area. You should see Fulham Palace right here on the left. That area, that green space and everything like there kind of sticks out well, I think. Trying to show off a little bit of the density, and then we got the Stamford Bridge once again, and we're going to be moving into a very, very busy area coming up here. There's quite a bit to see as we go towards like Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace. They really put these palaces pretty close together, just saying. Stamford Bridge. So we got the football field, nice green space. But yeah, over to the left, you're going to see Kensington Palace, the Hyde Park, and the Kensington Gardens. So we're going to fly over that and come back around a little bit. Very, very detailed. You can see all the trees and everything over here. Lots of little monument spots. It looks really great. And then we should be seeing the next green space over there, which is going to be Buckingham Palace. You know, they could have controlled more territory, but they spread out their palaces more. It's just amazing seeing like some of the older architecture surrounded by like tons of modern like buildings and designs. So yeah, there's Buckingham Palace. Very, very dense spot, very highly detailed. See the monument kind of going out there. Looks fantastic. Victoria. And then again we get the second sort of run at the Palace of Westminster right here. Since that obviously is a very important spot to showcase. And then we're going to have to go. So there's St. James Palace as well. So you got to put the palaces right on top of each other. They look really fantastic though. So you should also be seeing a number of other spots here, like a lot of density. And that should be the Regent's Park, I believe, is that big green space up there. That looks pretty cool, that building. And the BT Tower. Kind of a hot spot, but right here should be the Regent's Park. And I believe the London Zoo as well should be like part of this area here. So you might see some sort of density around this spot. Yeah, this should be the zoo area that we're flying over right now. And it'll probably be covered with a lot more trees, so it's a little bit harder to fully see the details of it. Camden Town. So there's a lot of spots up here, but this is much, much more beautifully detailed than it was the year prior. It looks a lot more accurate, at least I feel so. And hopefully you're seeing some of the names of the places. I'm trying to highlight them just so you can see that as we sort of debate on wrapping around again. But I think we kind of showed off the key spots of the areas around there, and we're kind of just going over here to show off some of the side stuff, because I want to work towards like Heathrow Airport. Yeah, so we pass that. Needston is over this way. Yeah, we're kind of in the direction where I wanted to head. Brent Cross. The Hyde is over that way. Again, just seeing some of the, sort of the outer areas. You can see the big city area, the high dense city area in the distance. And then we're going to wrap around a bit to the left, because as you can see, there's a large structure out there that I'm kind of working towards the best I can. Got a lot of busy stuff, and I think there's like a zoo should be coming up around here. I don't know if that's quite this area, but I think you should see zoo around this spot. Another zoo. Should be the Hanwell Zoo, should be over possibly there. And then this would be like a park area. Yeah, and this should be the zoo spot over here, I believe. If not reading this quite wrong, or right, but think so. Or it's just a nice park. Could also just be a nice park area. There's a zoo around here. Harrow, yeah, okay. So here we go, let's go around. We're going to Wembley Stadium. So that's kind of where I was headed destination-wise in order to show this one off. Because it is kind of a big spot, I think. You know, it's worth showing off this area here. There's Brent, and there's the Wembley Stadium. We're going to try to fly a little bit closer to this one so that you can see it. Wembley over there. So you can tell this is a very, you know, massive stadium with like tons of stands and stuff. Just crazy. You know, they should have scanned this on a day when there was like a game in one of these stadiums. I bet it would just look crazy. You know, the amount of people and stuff would just be wild. So I believe that, yeah, that is Heathrow. That is our ultimate destination. Wembley. You know what? I think we might not have actually reached the park at that point. Trying my best. Oh, there's North Halt too. And then I guess Heathrow's there. So we actually got like a bit of a distance to go. Got this nice little weaving river area, which I believe... Oh, there's West Ealing. Greenford's right there. It's a very dense, very, very dense selection of cities and like outer areas. It's kind of amazing when you think about it. Just the different places that we fly over on these tours. It's quite a lot of fun just to like see all of these spots. So Heathrow Airport actually should be a pretty big spot. And there's Isleworth over to the left. And yeah, there's not really a ton of intense landmarks as we get closer to this place. You know, obviously there's some places that would be, you know, spots that a lot of people probably live and go to, and, you know, they work, and there's lots of housing and everything like that, but there's not, like, massive iconic spots, if that makes sense. But I wanted to show off the airport, and then kind of wrap up and end over there, towards where that stadium is. That was the general goal for the pre-planned flight tour. And this area over here should be Cranford Park. Should be just in front of the airport. And you can see the little water body there. There's the River Crane is that river, and then that little bit of water should be the balancing reservoir. There you go. So here's the Heathrow. See some planes and everything too, as you can tell. Like, it's a pretty massive airport area as we're kind of flying over it. It's very large in scale. And then to the left over there will be some additional reservoirs. And the big body of water down that way is the Queen Mary Reservoir. So many of them. a lot of water pooling areas around the airport, which is kind of neat. Probably why they built it around here, but yeah, just a massive airport, pretty well detailed too. So let's begin the conclusion to our flight as we head over to the stadium there. We're well on our way. Don't worry, the tour is almost done, although I'm sure you've all been having an exciting time as I try my best to capture all of the areas here. You know, sometimes in flight sim you get long stretches where there's not a lot, and then you get some stretches where there's like too much going on. That's why I try to do this plane, because it's, you know, kind of decently balanced in that regard. At least I feel so. Although it might have been easier just to end at the airport and show off this other area a little bit farther back. But it's part of the adventure, I guess. And there we go. That's where we're wanting to head and ultimately conclude our journey. But as you can tell, those structures do stick out quite a bit in the area. There we are. Twickenham Stadium. The conclusion of our tour. If you enjoyed this, be sure to leave a like so more people are able to check our flight out. And once again, subscribing is great as well. And I hope you've enjoyed this tour as we begin to fly over the last part of our journey in London. And I hope I showed the area off sufficiently well. Because like I said, there's a lot of spots here. There's a lot going on, so it's not super easy to do so. Yeah, that looks great.